Welcome. Today's webinar is using Moodle to create competency-based education. My name is Dr. Tammy Frame, and I'm the Chief Education Officer at eClass for Learning. This is my contact information. We are recording today's webinar, and anybody that signed up will get a copy of the recording. And if you were unable to visit us live today, feel free to email me any questions if you didn't get a chance to have your questions answered, and I'd be happy to address those as well. So welcome. eClass for Learning provides e-learning solutions for our clients. We have several LMSs that we support, including Moodle. We help clients with course development. We do professional development like we are today on best uses. We offer e-commerce solutions, hosting, integrations, marketing, and training. If you are working with us live today, there is a chat. We're using Zoom as our conferencing system. So feel free to put questions in. I think that makes the webinars a lot more fun. And with that, if you are joining us live and you'd like to share, feel free to introduce yourself and tell me what is your vision for competency-based education. I would be very interested in that. And while you type those in, I'm going to move to my demo site. And we'll go there. Today I am demoing in Moodle 3.3. So you'll get to see a preview of that. And our next webinar is going to be talking about the new features in Moodle 3.3. So you may want to join that as well. So I'm going to talk about 6 steps to adding Moodle competencies. And the first one is you will have to make sure that it's enabled by the site administrator. So whoever has site admin rights, what they need to do is go into site admin. And now in 3.1 and above, there is an area that says competencies. And from there, you'll want to go to competency settings. And I would recommend that you have both of these checked. For sure, enable competencies. And I would also put push course ratings to individual learning plans. And click Save Changes. So that's step 1. Step 2, the next step is we have to make your competency frameworks. And again, that's something that the site administrator needs to do. And you can have multiple frameworks set up on your site. For example, you might have one for students, another one for teachers, and a third for administrators, let's say. And maybe the students is what they're trying to do in their coursework, and maybe the administrators and teachers are what they're trying to do in their professional development goals. And so from there, what you want to do is you want to go to site administration, competencies again, and this time we want to go to competency frameworks. And by the way, you can migrate frameworks from other sites, you can import competency frameworks, and you can also export them. But we're going to go to competency frameworks, and I have 3 set up so far. Like in my example, I have one for administrators, one for students, and one for teachers, okay? Let's set up a new one just so you can see that process. And we'll go here, and I'll put my demo competency framework. Can add a description. In Moodle, anything with a red asterisk has to be filled in. The rest is optional. So it does require an ID number. ID numbers can be letters and numbers, or just one or the other. So, okay. From there, you have to choose a scale. I'm going to go with separate and connected ways of knowing. You can also create your own scales. And from here, what you do is you have to configure your scale. And what that means is you have to decide what the default is for the rating given when it's automatically completed, let's say in a course. And then you also have to say which item shows proficiency, okay? So I'm going to go to configure scales, and I'm going to say that the default is going to be this one, and this is going to be what I consider to be proficient. Notice you could have more than one here because it's a checkbox. So when I've got that done, we can do it. If you're not ready to have it visible, you can hide it until you are, and then change that later. This was very confusing to me at first. What's a taxonomy? But sometimes when you're working with standards and proficiencies and things, there's different languages and you might have a hierarchy. So maybe level 1 is the competency, and maybe the sub-indicators, let's say, are the proficiencies, and then maybe I have my outcomes, and then finally, a skill, let's just say. And you may not use all of those. It's up to you, but it's just kind of to help when you build the framework. Okay, now that we have the competency, we have to start adding competencies and skills and so on. So you click on here and it says add competency. And so I might say adaptability. Okay, and then I might put learners can adapt to their learning to different contexts, let's say. And then these need ID numbers too. Okay, and then it asks me again what framework I'm going to use. It's going to ask me to configure those scales. And I've got one done, okay? And then if I go under here, now it knows the next level down is the proficiency. Students can show learning contexts, okay? And then again, you know, and so forth, so. And voila. Okay, so we're on our way. So far, we've set up some frameworks. We've created some competencies within those frameworks. Okay, now let's talk about how a teacher might work with these competencies and add them within a course. All right, so we'll go to my dashboard. We'll go to a course. And now under course administration, let's see, course admin, competencies. Let's look here, course admin. I should have seen completion tracking. I should see competencies in here. Let me just try another theme, because that's kind of throwing me, and see if we see it there. Here we have site admin, appearance, themes, theme selector. Let's go to change the theme. Let's go to boost theme, just for the heck of it, and see if we have a little more luck. Continue. Okay. So let's go to a course and see if it shows up for us now. That was, yep, now here's competencies. Okay. So when I want to add competencies, there's a button here, and I've already added some, but let's add another one. Add competencies to the course. I can pick the competency framework. I can pick what things I want to add. And those are now added to the course. Students are able to view those too. A teacher can, and it'll show the student how many they're proficient in, and it will show here what they need to do. Now here, upon course completion, I have that they'll complete the competency. And it also shows an activity that is linked to that competency. Here, I could say that they need to attach evidence. They could send in review, or if they complete the course, they complete the competency. Okay. Now this is closely related to course completion rates. So let me go back to the different theme that I was working on, because I know that went a little bit better. And let's look at what the course completion ratings are. So I'm going to move to the clean theme. And okay. Site admin, appearance, theme selector is what I want. Change theme, use theme, and from here we'll go to the clean theme. Okay. All right, so if I go back to my course, and now under my course admin, let's look at course completion. I'm going to say when this is done, where's my SCORM? We'll say this assignment and this assignment are needed to complete the course. Okay, so now we're saying if they do those assignments, they are going to get those competencies. You can also attach competencies to activities. Okay, so let's do that. Let's look at my first topic under here, comment directly into student assignments. And here, let's look at this assignment. We'll turn the editing on. And we'll go to edit settings. And from here, competencies. And then I've added one already. If I want to add another one, I could add this one. And then if they have those two things completed, then they get those two competencies marked off. Now, you'll want to also make sure this is closely related to activity completion, and I have that they have to submit an activity. We could maybe add that they have to get a certain grade on it. So let's go back to availability, activity completion. They have to receive a grade. Okay, and then we'll go to save and return to course. Okay, so you can add the competencies to the activity level. Let's say you want to view a competency breakdown report for each student. There's a really neat new report in here under Reports, Competency Breakdown. And here it shows Ben's sample, and if I want to, I can mark their ratings as well. And if I wanted to rate this one, I can do that. So maybe in addition to the course, maybe he was absent but showed me another way that he knows it, for example. And then from here, I could go to another student, okay? And then from here, we could rate it, and we could say mostly separate, needs a little more work. Now, another thing that you can do, competencies are very much linked to individual learning plans. And so from there, if the learner goes to their profile, they can see or create learning plans from here. And here I have a sample learning plan. The teacher can't, things that I could do is I could edit the learning plan, complete the learning plan, send back to draft, or delete it. When I open it up, it shows that I'm not very far. This is the competencies that have been assigned to it. We could add more. And then I have some actions. I could request a review. I could also find courses that have this, and right now there aren't any. So that could help students pick out learning paths and other learning that could help them with that competency as well. So that opens up a lot of personalized learning options. Okay, with that, that kind of shows the new tool sets that are available with competencies. I'd love to hear from the audience, maybe via email, of how you plan to use competencies. I'd love to do some case studies if anybody's interested in that. The final thing that I will leave with is I just want to talk about what our upcoming webinar series are that you might be interested in. Today, I think competencies open up a whole lot of things for personalized learning. But what's new in Moodle 3.3? That's what I was demoing today, and we'll look at that next week on Thursday, January 18th. And then we have some new partnerships at eClass for Learning, and these partnerships are strategic in that they open up more solutions for our clients. And so we've become a reseller of LMS Checkout. LMS Checkout makes it very easy for you to have a customizable store, both for online classes and other things, and it can sync to your Moodle. And so if somebody would buy a Moodle course, they're automatically enrolled, and it handles all of the e-commerce things. So that's kind of an exciting one. Another one is Zula, and that webinar is happening February 1st. Sometimes people need more reporting than what is native to Moodle. And Zula is a plugin that goes on top that makes a very advanced report builder with drag and drop capabilities. So basically it shows all of the things in the database, and you can drop in the fields you want to see. And without programming, you can create a custom report, which is pretty exciting. Another one that we're very excited about, and we know a lot of our clients will have interest in, is if you use Salesforce, you can make Salesforce sort of your student information system. And so what can happen is it can put groups of people into Moodle and auto-enroll them right from Salesforce, but it can also share data back. And the plugin is an approved Salesforce plugin. It's an API, and it has containers where that information goes. And so you can see from the user what courses they've taken and what their status is and what how they're in progress. And then more importantly, you can have some advanced reporting right from your Salesforce about how the learning's doing, how many people were in a course, and so on, and you can filter those and configure those differently in Salesforce. So we're very excited about these 3 products, and we hope you can join us for these webinars. Thanks so much.